Let me tell you a story about healthcare in America before Obamacare that really tells you everything you need to know about our system. A Canadian woman named Jennifer Hukalak and her husband decided to go on vacation in Hawaii. Now, at the time, she was pregnant, but her due date was a long time off. But to be safe anyway, she purchased health insurance from Blue Cross and got the approval of her doctor to go on the trip. So in other words, she asked her doctor, is it okay that I'm doing this? And the doctor said, it's totally fine, go right ahead. Well, 2 days into her trip, the nightmare began. She went into labor 9 weeks early. So this is a huge problem, a massive concern. She spent 6 weeks in the hospital, and the baby was in intensive care for 2 months. Now, thankfully, her daughter survived, but get this, she was hit with a $950,000 bill. Almost $1 million. She goes on vacation. She gets hit with $1 million bill. Simply because she went into labor early and there were complications with the pregnancy. Now, if she was in Canada when this happened, you know how much money she would owe? Donut. Zero. Nothing. I was going to say Zada, but I think it's nada. The wires crossed in my head. Come on, man. How insane are we? This is the system that we set up where because of some arbitrary made-up border, if you're on that side of it, it doesn't, nothing. It doesn't cost you anything. In fact, if you don't have a ride home when you leave the hospital, we'll pay for your transportation. Oh, fuck, come on, man. They net make money on the other side of the border if this happens. But in the U.S., $1 million. Now, stop and think about this. She did everything exactly right. She got insurance. She got her doctor's approval. Everything. So why did it cost this amount of money? Well, I hope you're sitting down because this is infuriating. Blue Cross decided after the fact that she had a pre-existing condition because she had a bladder infection at one point in her life. If that doesn't piss you off, you're not human. You don't have a pulse. You don't have a heartbeat. You're just not human. Because she at one point had a bladder infection years prior, therefore you have a pre-existing condition, and we're not going to pay your medical bill. You owe $950,000. They're denying coverage for anything. They're not paying for anything. This is what we call rescission. People don't know this about U.S. healthcare, that before Obamacare, we had these entire departments for this process, this legal process known as rescission, which is you go back and you look through paperwork and you try to find something, anything, to nullify a contract. So if you have a problem and you need the health insurance company to pay out on it, well, the only way the health insurance company makes money, since it's capitalist, it's for profit, is to deny as much care as possible so they can use that money to pad the bottom line. So what do? Okay, just look through her history, look through her papers, see if there's anything we could use. I mean, something they could do is if you have on one form, let's say you put your middle initial or your middle name, and on another form you don't do it. We don't know if it was the same person, there was some kind of clerical error, we're not paying out on it. This is the system we had in the U.S. Now, unfortunately, the root problem is still in the system in the U.S. because we still have a for-profit capitalist system. We still have the cash-sucking predatory middleman that is the private health insurance companies. And we know what the solution is, but we can't change it, or we haven't changed it, because there's so much money and influence and power in the current system with the private insurance companies, and they lobby Congress, and they always get their way, and they're this big bureaucracy. And meanwhile, people are dying as a result of it. Now, again, to be clear and to be fair, Obamacare did step in and fix many of these problems. They fixed the pre-existing condition problem. They fixed the lifetime cap problem. That's another important one. Of course, they expanded Medicaid, which helped a large number of people. They increased the coverage rates across the board. People up till the age of 26 are now able to stay under their parents' plan, and the list goes on and on. It's very, very good. It's a giant step in the right direction, but the fundamental problems are still there. When the health insurance companies are for profit, they're going to try to weasel their way out of paying for anything for you. Any way they could weasel out of it, they're going to weasel out of it because that's the way that the system is structured. We need to change this system because if not, we're going to continue to get horror stories like this.